Every student should start a business. If you got an entrepreneurial idea, it's better to try it and fail now than never know. And most people will tell you, wait until you graduate. But if you put this off, you risk becoming yet another person who looks back years later and hates that they played it safe. 85% of entrepreneurs regret not starting earlier, and that regret will eat at your identity, making you wonder who you could have been. So think about Mark Zuckerberg. He launched Facebook from his Harvard dorm room as a sophomore. Within 1 month, half of Harvard students were on his website. By the next year, he dropped out of college to run it full time. That dorm room project exploded into one of the biggest companies on the planet. Mark was a student with an idea. He started, and the rest is history. Now, let me tell you about my own story. In my final year of university, I had a high-paying investment banking job offer waiting for me to say yes to. Dream job, 6-figure salary, that works. And then I had an insane opportunity. Join a tiny startup with 2 other people, take 30% ownership and $300 a month. Everyone thought I was crazy to even consider it. I barely even knew what it meant to run a business. But I did one thing that saved me. I imagined myself at age 40 looking back. I'd realize I'd regret it forever if I didn't take that shot. So I told myself I'd rather know and fail than not know. So I turned on the safe job, took the $300 a month startup deal. It was the hardest decision of my life and the best one I ever made. Now, maybe you're thinking, Evan, this sounds great, but I'm just a student with no money, no experience, no time. How can I start a business now? Isn't it better to wait? I hear you. Let's talk about it. So no money. Okay, as a student, you've learned to be resourceful. You've lived on a shoestring budget. That's the exact perfect mindset for a lean startup that you want to have. You don't have experience. Okay, awesome. You gain experience by doing. School doesn't teach you how to build a company either. Starting one does. And if you have no time, you know what? You find time for what matters, whether it's gaming, social media, hanging out. If building your dream business truly matters to you, you will find an hour here, 2 hours there. Waiting until later is the real trap. The longer you wait, the more life will pile on obligation and fears for you. The truth is, this only gets harder the longer you delay. So use what you have now. Use your youthful energy, your fewer responsibilities, your willingness to eat ramen noodles if you have to. Those are advantages, not disadvantages. So if you're in class, dreaming about being your own boss, this is your wake-up call. Now is the time, not after graduation, not someday, right now. I'm going to show you why and how to do it step by step. Let's go. If you've been here before, drop a hashtag Believe in the comments below so I can feature you here in a future video. And if you are new, welcome to Believe Nation, the only channel that helps you believe in yourself daily, one video at a time. Believe. The best time to start is now. The truth is you will never have a better time to start a business than when you're a student. Why? Because right now you have built-in advantages that most adults wish they still had. For one, you probably don't have a mortgage, kids, or a ton of bills weighing you down. You can survive on your peanut butter sandwiches and coffee, and it's no big deal. That means you can take risks now that would feel impossible later on. Your downside is low and your upside is enormous. As a student, you also have something precious, time. Yes, you're busy, you've got classes, exams, maybe a part-time job, but trust me, it only gets busier when you're older. Right now, you can choose to spend your evenings or weekends building your thing. Later on, those same hours might be swallowed up by a demanding job that you're trying to pay the bills with or family duties. Today, you can pull a late nighter working on your business plan and still roll into your morning lecture, maybe half awake on caffeine, but still. In 10 years, pulling an all-nighter on your dream might not even be an option. And consider this, access to resources. So universities are gold mines for an aspiring entrepreneur. You have professors who have seen it all. You can go to them and ask for advice. You'd be surprised how willing many are to help a motivated student. You have free internet, libraries, market spaces, maybe even a business incubator or competitions that are on campus. You have classmates in every field. Potential co-founders and teammates are literally all around you. Do you code, but you need a marketer? That kid in your dorm with a marketing major could become your CMO. You need feedback on your app. Your friends will happily test it. Students love trying new stuff, especially if you give them free pizza. You're surrounded by opportunities to connect and collaborate constantly. Some of the most famous companies in the world were started by college friends teaming up. Just look at Facebook. Zuckerberg enlisted his college buddies as co-founders, or Google. Larry Page met Sergey Brin at Stanford as students. Your future co-founder might be sitting next to you in Psych 101 right now. Crazy, right? But most importantly, starting now means you get a head start on learning, because every day that you work on your business, you're learning things that no textbook can teach you. When I was at the University of Toronto, I was studying business. I noticed something weird. In my final year, they finally offered a course on small business management. And the professor teaching it had never even run a business. Meanwhile, I was already running my startup outside of class and learning more from that experience than any lecture. So that's not a knock on school. It was just a reality check for me. Formal education can be useful, but real world execution, that is your ultimate teacher. Some of the best teachers in the world are on YouTube. I think the best teachers right now in the world are on YouTube. They're sharing exactly how they are building and have built their companies. So why limit yourself to classroom theories? When you start a business as a student, you're turbocharging your education because you get real lessons in leadership and sales and marketing and failure, resilience, the stuff that no exam is actually going to cover. And let's talk about regret one more time. I gave you that stat earlier, 85% of entrepreneurs wish they had started sooner. So imagine yourself 10, 20 years from now in a stable job that you don't even like, thinking, man, back in college, I had this idea. I wonder what would have happened if I had just tried it. That thought is painful. Shadi McIsaac, a CEO who studied thousands of small business owners, said something that really hit me. The risk isn't starting your own business. The real risk is waiting too long to start. Every second you wait is an opportunity ticking away. So start before life ties you down. Start when you're a little naive, a little fearless. Start now when you have the best chance to give your dream a running head start. Overcoming fear and doubt. All right. So let's address the elephant in the room. Fear. Being a student entrepreneur sounds scary. I won't lie to you. It is scary. You might fear failing. You might fear looking stupid in front of your friends or family. You might fear that you have no idea what you're doing. And newsflash, none of us did at the start either. These fears are natural, but they are not a good enough reason to sit on the sidelines. So I'll share a quick personal moment of fear. I'm 19 years old. I've just started my first business. I feel totally out of my depth. I think, hey, I need help. Maybe the bank will help me with a small business loan or something. So I walk into a bank, all optimistic, telling them I started a business and asking how they can help. You know what happened? The banker basically shuts me down. He says, we need to see 3 years of business history or collateral. Otherwise, I can't do anything for you. And boom, just like that, I'm shown the door. I walked in excited and walked out feeling like absolute garbage. Like, oh my God, I'm going to fail. This is ridiculous. Who was I to think I could do this? And that really, it was a punch to the gut. And for a moment, I believed him. I felt that fear take over, the fear that maybe I was too young, I was too inexperienced, that maybe I should quit and take a safer path, go back to that job. But here's what I learned. A no is not the end. That banker's rejection could have been the end of my entrepreneurial story. And for many people, it is. They get one big no, and that's it. They cancel, they quit. I almost did. I could have said, well, I tried. Guess I'll just go get a normal job. But then I thought back to the regret test. I thought about being 40 and telling my kids I gave up because a bank teller didn't believe in me. It's pretty lame, right? I realized I had to find another way. If the bank wouldn't help, I'd bootstrap, I'd invest profits, I'd do whatever it took. And that moment of doubt sucked, but it didn't stop me. And I don't want anything to stop you either. Your fears will tell you all kinds of lies. What if I fail and everyone laughs? What if I lose my savings? What if it never works out? But what if you never try and spend the rest of your life knowing you never even gave yourself a chance, which is worse, a temporary failure or a lifetime of what if? And I can answer that from experience. Regret is way worse. Failure, it goes away. You learn and you move on. Regret, that haunts you. Remember, failure, it's like a bruise. Regret is a tattoo. Bruises heal, tattoos of regret stick around forever. And guess what? Failure will happen at some point, and it's okay, especially when you're young. If your first business idea flops, so what? You're out a bit of time, maybe a bit of money, but you gain a MBA's worth of experience in the real world. Then you take those lessons and you build something better. Each failure is not really failure, it's just training you. Thomas Edison failed 1,000 times inventing a light bulb. And when he was asked about it, he basically said he didn't fail. He just discovered 1,000 ways it didn't work. And that mindset, if you adopt it, makes you unstoppable. As a student entrepreneur, you have the luxury to fail small now so you can succeed big later. Now, maybe you're afraid of what people will say, your classmates, your professors, your parents. Maybe they think you're crazy too. Maybe your mom wants you to just study and get a real job. And I've been there. My friends were all lining up these prestigious jobs and I went off this weird path. People couldn't understand why I'd throw away a sure thing for something so risky. And it can feel lonely when nobody gets your vision. But listen, every great entrepreneur faces doubters, every single one. You can let that peer pressure box you in, or you can use it as motivation. You can prove them wrong, or better yet, prove yourself right. The sweetest feeling in the world was when that little startup that I was a part of, the one that everyone kind of side-eyed, started gaining traction. We struggled for a little bit, but eventually broke through. In fact, we grew that startup enough that by the age of 22, I helped negotiate its sale. We had a nice exit while my old classmates were just settling into their entry-level jobs. Not saying that to brag, I'm just saying it because that's what can happen when you push past the fear and just do the work. The same people who said I was crazy were suddenly asking if I had any advice for them. How's that for validation? Now, to be real with you, pushing through the fear doesn't mean you should go it alone or pretend that everything is fine when it isn't. One of the biggest mistakes that I made was not asking for help when I was struggling. In the first year of my business, I was too embarrassed to tell my friends or family that I was making no money and that I had absolutely no clue what I was doing. I kept it all inside. I thought I had to be tough. I had to be this, young founder. And that pride and secrecy nearly broke me. I felt devastatingly lonely. And when you're lonely, you're way more likely to quit. And I learned that you shouldn't do this alone. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to say, hey, I'm struggling. Can you help me brainstorm or encourage me? Find a mentor, join a club of entrepreneurs, or just talk to a friend who believes in you. Don't let your fear, your ego keep you isolated. Courage doesn't mean no fear. It means not letting fear stop you and getting support when you need it. Okay. We've got the why, and you're managing the fear. Now let's get into the practical side of things. How to start your business in school. So you're convinced, or at least curious, and you want to start, but how do you actually do it as a student? Let's break it down to some actionable steps that you can start taking today. Start right now with what you have. Don't wait for the perfect idea or the perfect time. There isn't one. Look at the skills that you have, what problems you can solve, and what you enjoy doing. Start small. It could be tutoring in a subject that you're great at. It could be selling a product that you make or source. It could be building your app, offering a service. The key is to start. You can always pivot or expand later, but you can't do anything until you start. Even if it's just an Instagram page for your business or a simple prototype, do it right now. Action creates momentum. Thinking about it doesn't. Next, schedule time for your business and treat it like a class. Carve out dedicated time in your week for your business tasks. So maybe it's an hour every weekday after classes or your Saturday mornings. Put it on your calendar like it's an important lecture or lab. More important than a lecture or lab. This is you building your future. So it's just as important as any class, probably more. During that time, you shut off distractions. You focus on moving your business forward, whether it's building your product, your marketing, talking to customers, whatever. Consistency is your best friend here. Little by little, those hours add up and your business grows. Use your student card to open doors. Here's a pro tip. People love helping students. If you reach out to entrepreneurs or experts or alumni and say, hey, I'm a student working on a startup and would love your advice, many will respond positively. Use that. Email local business owners, alumni from your school, or even professors in departments that are relevant to your idea. Ask for a 15-minute coffee chat or a quick call. You'd be amazed how a student status gets you past gates that others are hitting. Also take advantage of campus resources. Is there an entrepreneurship center, startup competitions, free workshops? Join them. They often have mentorship programs or even funding for student ventures. Don't be shy. Raise your hand and say, I have a business idea. Can someone help me make it real? You'll find supporters if you look. Next, don't do it alone. Find partners and mentors. So as I mentioned, doing it all alone is a recipe for burnout and giving up. So build your support team. Now, maybe that means convincing a classmate to co-found with you. Hey, you're great at design and I'm good at coding. Let's build this app together. Or join an entrepreneurial club to meet like-minded students. If a co-founder isn't in the cards, then go get a mentor. It could be a professor who likes entrepreneurship or a local business leader or even an online mentor that you follow. Yes, watching a ton of entrepreneur interviews on YouTube can be a form of mentorship. I did that a lot. I call it aspirational mentors. The point is surround yourself with at least one or two people who believe in your idea and can offer guidance or even moral support. It makes a world of difference on those hard days. Next, leverage school projects for your business. This is a cool hack and that I love doing. Whenever possible, turn your class assignments into something you can use for your startup. So you have a marketing class, use your business as the case study for your project. You're writing an essay for economics, maybe analyze the market that you are entering into. If you have to do a group project, propose something that's related to your business idea so you basically get classmates helping you for credit. This way you're working on your business while doing your schoolwork. Two birds with one stone, right? Plus, you might impress your teachers with your initiative. Next, be super cheap and creative early on. So you're a student. So chances are you're not swimming in cash. That's actually an advantage as an entrepreneur. It forces you to be creative and scrappy. So use free or discounted student software. A lot of companies offer student discounts. Use the library 3D printer instead of buying equipment. Find interns or other students who want experience to help you instead of hiring the pros. Do things that don't scale at first, like hand deliver your products on campus or manually email customers, because you probably have more time than money right now. This hustle, it teaches you the value of every dollar and how to stretch a budget, which is exactly what great entrepreneurs do. Remember my first business, I was making $300 a month. I became an expert at doing a lot with very little. Next, embrace failure as feedback. So launch your idea in a small way and just test it. Maybe you make a few units of your product or launch a beta version of your app. If nobody buys or users hate it, that's not the end. That's great information. Get feedback, tweak the idea, and you try again. As a student business owner, you can't afford for your early versions to be rough. You're learning in public, and that is fine. Each version, each iteration, it gets you closer to something that works. So don't be discouraged if it flops. See it as your professor handing you back an exam with some corrections on it, right? You learn the lesson and you improve. Also, if you want to take real action after this video, I made a free worksheet just for you, covers the top lessons from today, gives you space to write your biggest takeaways, and helps you build a simple action plan. It's 100% free. Just click the link in the description to go grab it. I'll see you there. From student to entrepreneur, your identity shift. When you start a business as a student, something magical starts to happen. You stop seeing yourself as just a student defined by grades and diplomas, and you start seeing yourself as an entrepreneur. This is a powerful identity shift. You're not waiting for permission to enter the real world. You're already in it. You're creating value and you're making your moves. Think about what that does to your confidence. So while your classmates might be worrying about finding a job someday, you're running a business. Even if it's tiny, even if it's just you and a laptop, it's yours. You become the kind of person who says, I want something, so I go out and I create it. Instead of the person who says, I'll wait and hope someone hires me to do something cool. That mindset shift will set you apart for life. You carry yourself differently. You realize that you can learn anything and solve problems on your own. You stop seeing uncertainty as scary and start seeing it as opportunity. And that is huge. I want to share something I realized looking back on my journey. So remember that 19-year-old kid version of me nervously choosing the startup over the safe job? At the time, I wasn't even sure I wanted to be an entrepreneur long term. I just knew I didn't want to live with regret. And I gave myself 1 year to try and see what happened. That was my deal with myself. 1 year, all in, see where it goes. Well, spoiler alert, I went pretty well, but I didn't fully believe in myself yet back then. My belief grew because I took action, not the other way around. Now today, in my 40s, I look back on my path and I sometimes think, man, if 19-year-old Evan had believed in himself as much as 40s Evan did, I would have been amazing. In other words, if I had the confidence then that I have now, I would have pushed even harder, dreamed even bigger. But you know how I eventually built that confidence? By doing, by trying, failing, learning, and succeeding bit by bit. Belief is like a muscle. And starting your business young is the ultimate workout for you. You're going to develop a level of self-belief that no theory, no training could ever give you. You're going to face challenges that will force you to grow. There were nights in that first year of my business where I was this close to quitting. I was making no money. I had no results. I felt like a loser compared to my friends. They were all on their successful corporate tracks. I remember one night in particular where I told my partner that I quit. That's it. I'm done. This isn't for me. But by morning, something in me refused. I thought, I haven't given it my all yet. If I quit now, I'll always wonder, what if? That decision to continue, to give it one more day and then another, is what eventually led me to the breakthrough. It's like that old picture of the miner stopping 1 foot away from a vein of gold. I was so close to the gold and didn't know it. Thankfully, I kept going. I kept hitting my pickaxe. But when you operate with an entrepreneur identity, you start to welcome the pressure instead of avoiding it. You start to say, okay, bring it on. Because you know pressure is what turns that coal into diamonds. When an exam is hard, students complain. When a business problem is hard, entrepreneurs, they get excited. Because solving it means you just leveled up above your competition. You become anti-fragile. Challenges actually make you stronger and more confident in yourself. And even if you ultimately decide to do something else later in life, that identity stays with you. Say you do start that business in school and you run it for a couple of years, and maybe you continue with it full time after graduation, or maybe you sell it, or maybe it doesn't work out and then you close it down. Regardless, you now have the mindset and experience of an entrepreneur. If you go to work at a company later, you'll operate like an owner, not just an employee. And guess what? Bosses notice that. Or if you start a second business down the line, you'll be twice as effective. This is why starting young is so awesome. It's practical for the rest of your life. By the time most people attempt their first business in their 30s or 40s, you could be on your second or third successful business because you started in your teens or early 20s. And let's not forget, being a young entrepreneur can inspire others around you. When your classmates see you hustling, selling your product, running your app, you become an example. You're showing them it's possible. You might spark a friend to join you or to start their own thing. You create a little ripple of belief that can spread to others. That's part of my mission with Believe Nation, what we do here, to spread that belief. And you, by taking action, become a beacon of that belief in your own circle. How cool is that? Look, you started life as a student because that's what society told you to do. But you don't have to stay just a student. You can be a CEO in training right now. You can be the person who owns their destiny, not the one who rents it out as an employee later on. When you start a business, no matter how humble, you claim ownership of your life's direction. And that shift in who you believe you are, that becomes priceless. That's what sets you up not just for one company, but for any dream you decide to chase. So you have the knowledge, you have the passion, you even have a step-by-step game plan to get going. The only question now is, will you take the leap? And I hope your answer is yes. And I hope it's today. You've got this. I believe in you. But more importantly, I want you to believe in yourself, because your future self is begging you to give this a shot. Don't let them down. You showed up today. You invested in yourself by watching this video and by learning. That already sets you apart from most people. Now it's time to act. Go start the business and show the world and yourself what you're made of. And congratulations, you're one video closer to who you're meant to be. Believe. Now let's learn how to find a profitable business idea. You want to start a business, but you're struggling to come up with the right idea. Sound familiar? If so, you are not alone and you're in the right place. Today, I'm going to help you find a profitable business idea that not only makes money, but also ignites your passion and serves a real need. Every successful entrepreneur starts exactly where you are now, with no idea and a lot of uncertainty. The difference is they found the process to discover that golden idea and took action. In fact, millions of people are taking the leap. 5.4 million new business applications were filed in 2021 in the US, a record high. That means countless people decided, enough waiting, I'm going to build something, and you can too. Imagine waking up excited because you're working on a business that you love, that you're good at, and that actually makes a difference while making money. That's the goal, and we're gonna get you there with a step-by-step breakdown, mixing motivational fire with practical strategies backed by real stats, expert frameworks, and inspiring examples. Let's do this. Step number one is start with your passion and skills. The first place to look for a great business idea is within you. Why? Because building a business takes hard work and persistence, and it's a lot easier if you care deeply about what you're doing. So start by examining your passions and skills. What do you love doing? What are you really good at? These are the seeds of a strong business idea. Think about it. If you start a business just because it seems lucrative, but you have zero interest in it, will you still be excited to do it a year from now, 5 years from now? Probably not. Your passion is the fuel that keeps you going when things get tough. And trust me, in business, things will get tough. Likewise, your skills and talents give you an edge. Maybe you're great at graphic design or coding or cooking or teaching, whatever your gifts are. They can form the basis of a business. A powerful tool to connect passion and skill with a viable idea is the Ikigai framework from Japan. Ikigai means reason for being, and it's often visualized as 4 overlapping circles. What you're good at, your skills and your strengths, what you love, your passions, those activities that light you up, what the world needs, these are the problems you can solve or ways you can serve others, and what you can be paid for. So these are things that people would actually pay you to do. Ask yourself these 4 questions and find the intersection. The sweet spot in the middle is your Ikigai, where a meaningful, potentially profitable business idea can emerge. For example, say you love fitness and you're good at teaching. The world needs healthier lifestyles and people are willing to pay for personal training. Right in the intersection could be a business idea of launching a personal training service or an online fitness coaching program.
See how that works? When you align what drives you with what helps others and what makes money, you've got the foundation of a winning idea. Take a moment after this video or pause now to jot down your skills and passions. Look for patterns or combinations you might have overlooked. Your unique background or hobby might be the source of a great business. Love baking and good at art? Maybe a custom cake bakery. Good with numbers and love kids? Maybe a financial literacy app for students. Brainstorm freely here. Let your imaginations go wild, connecting things you love and excel at. This is how many iconic businesses started. Someone took a personal interest or talent and turned it into a product or service the world didn't know it needed. Number 2, identify real problems to solve. All right, so you've looked inward. Now it's time to look outward. A business only succeeds if it solves a problem or fulfills a need for customers. This is absolutely crucial. Profitable ideas are ones that serve others in a meaningful way. As venture capitalist Paul Graham put it, the way to get startup ideas is not to try to think of startup ideas. It's to look for problems, preferably problems you have yourself. In other words, find a pain point, something people struggle with or want improved, and solve it. Why is focusing on a real problem so important? Because if your idea doesn't address a genuine need, it won't matter how passionate or skilled you are, it's likely to flop. In fact, studies have shown that 42% of startups fail simply because there was no market need for what they built. Think about that. Nearly half of those entrepreneurs poured time and money into something that people ultimately didn't want enough to pay for. Ouch. We do not want you in that 42% category. The cure is to start with a problem, not the product. So look around your life and the lives of others. What annoying problems do you see? What service do you wish existed because it would make your life easier? Maybe your coworkers are always complaining about a certain inefficiency at work. Maybe as a parent, you've noticed a lack of affordable tutoring options. Maybe you see small businesses in your town struggle with social media and you know how to help. Opportunities are everywhere once you start looking for problems. A great exercise is to keep a problem journal for a week. Literally write down every time you or someone you observe says, I wish this was easier, or why hasn't someone figured this out? Those complaints are business idea gold. The bigger or more frequent the pain, the more valuable the solution will be. Entrepreneurs often talk about painkillers versus vitamins. When it comes to products, a painkiller business solves an urgent pain. Customers need it. Whereas a vitamin business is nice to have. Customers might want it. Painkillers are easier to sell, so aim to be a painkiller. Solve a real problem that causes pain or frustration. Now, if you can match a problem that needs solving with something you're passionate about and good at, you're on the right track. Let's say you're passionate about the environment and skilled in engineering. You identify that people want to reduce plastic waste. That's the problem, but find it hard to do in daily life. You might come up with a business idea to create biodegradable packaging or a convenient recycling service. See how the problem, which was plastic waste, drives the idea, and your passion or your skill, which is sustainability and engineering, shapes the solution? That's the synergy that we're looking for. Step number 3, brainstorm broadly. Mix and match your ideas, your products, your services, online and offline. At this point, you have the ingredients of you, your passion, your skills, and the market, the real problems and the needs. Now it's time to cook up some specific ideas. Brainstorm as many ideas as possible that lie at the intersection of what excites you and what could help others. Don't filter yourself too much yet. The goal is to generate a wide range of possibilities. Think of it like a creative brainstorm where no idea is too crazy to write down. Often your first few ideas might be obvious or already well known, but as you keep pushing, you'll hit more original notes. One technique is to take one of your interests or skills and list out every business model you can apply to it. For example, suppose you love pets. You could sell a product like homemade organic pet treats, provide a service, pet grooming, dog walking, build an online platform, a blog, a YouTube channel with pet training tips, monetized by ads, or a premium course, start an offline business, open a pet daycare center, offer consulting or coaching service to help new pet owners via one-on-one sessions, and so on. See how one passion, which was pets, can spawn multiple types of business? Don't get stuck thinking there's only one way to turn an interest into an income. In fact, let's systematically explore different types of business models so you can cover all of the angles. Here's a list to spark some ideas. Product-based businesses. Here you're creating or selling a tangible product. So example, you're designing a new gadget, a new fashion item. You're manufacturing an eco-friendly household product. You're selling handmade crafts on Etsy. You're even developing a mobile app, which is a digital product. Then you have service-based businesses. Here you're providing a service. So you're using your time, your expertise to help clients. So examples, you're starting a consulting agency, you're freelancing your design or your programming skills, you're launching a cleaning or a landscaping business, you're offering tutoring or coaching, you're a fitness coach, a career coach, etc., or a home repair service. Next is online businesses. So here you're leveraging the internet to reach customers. So examples, you have an e-commerce store, you're selling products on Shopify, Amazon, your content creation, you're doing a YouTube channel, podcast, blog that you monetize through ads or subscriptions. You have online courses or membership sites. You have software as a service. You have products or an app-based service like a delivery or booking app. Next, you have offline. These are brick and mortar businesses. That's a traditional route of a physical location or local service. So examples, you're opening a cafe or a food truck, a retail boutique, a gym, a yoga studio, car wash, a mobile phone repair kiosk, a food catering business. These can still leverage online marketing, but the core is face-to-face service. Next is trending industries. So think about what's hot right now. New trends create new business opportunities. Some examples are AI and machine learning services, very hot right now. Sustainable products and green tech. People are increasingly becoming eco-conscious. Remote work solutions, anything that supports work from home culture. Blockchain, Web3, if you have expertise there. Personalized nutrition or health tech, etc. Trends can be great because demand is rising, but be careful. You still need to offer real value, not just hype. Then we can go to timeless needs. These are businesses that never go out of style because they meet basic enduring needs. So example, food and beverage, healthcare, education, housing, transportation, personal finance, management, cleaning, repairs, childcare. A boring business that reliably fixes a common problem can be very profitable. Don't dismiss it because it's not the latest fad. Timeless can equal stable. So go through each category and ask, could I see myself doing this? Does it overlap with a passion or skill and solve a problem? This exercise expands your thinking. For instance, maybe you hadn't considered an online content business, but you really love writing, and there's a need for easy how-to articles in a hobby niche you care about. Boom, that's a potential idea. Start a niche blog and monetize it. Or you realize an offline service like a mobile car detailing in your town could do well because you love cars, and people always need convenient car care. By exploring the full mix of models, you ensure you're not leaving any stone unturned. Here's a pro tip for you. Look at where trends and timeless needs intersect. For example, the rise of remote work as a trend meets the timeless need for better communication. That spawned ideas like Zoom and Slack. Now, maybe you won't create the next Zoom, but you might create a specialized solution for remote teachers or remote fitness training. Another example, health and wellness is timeless, and technology is a trend. Together, they opened up ideas like health tracking apps or online therapy services. Brainstorm combinations like this to see if something clicks with you. At this stage, quantity is your friend. Write down 10, 20, or even 50 idea snippets. They won't all be good. That's okay. You're looking for a few gems that excite you and have potential to explore further. Once you have a nice list of ideas, we can move on to evaluating and refining them. Step number 4, research the market and competition to validate the need. Now that you have some candid ideas, it's time to put on your detective hat and research. This step separates wishful thinking from reality. A business idea might sound awesome in your head, but you need to verify that real customers actually want it and will pay for it. So how do you research effectively? Start with understanding the market size and demand. Use Google to see how many people are searching for solutions related to your idea. Check forums, social media, Reddit communities where your potential customers hang out. What are they talking about? What questions do they ask? This can give you insight into the demand and specific pain points. For example, if you are considering a healthy snack product, see if people are blogging or tweeting about wanting low sugar on the go snacks. If you find a lot of chatter or searches, that's a good sign the interest is there. Next, look at the competition. Are there other businesses that are already doing what you plan to do or something similar? Don't be discouraged if there are. Competition is actually validation that the problem exists and money is being spent. Your job is to study those competitors and identify how you can differentiate. More on that will come up in a future section. Make a list of, say, the top 5 competitors or alternatives in your space. Visit their websites, read their customer reviews, note their pricing. This research will help you answer key questions. How hard will it be to stand out? What are they doing well and what are they not doing well? What gaps could you fill? Also pay attention to the trends in the industry. Is the market growing or shrinking? You can find industry reports or news articles for data. If you discover that the market for your idea is exploding, like for example, the e-learning market booming during the pandemic, that's a tailwind for you. If it's declining, say you wanted to open a DVD rental store, probably not a great idea in the age of streaming. You might reconsider or pivot your focus. Importantly, talk to potential customers if you can. This doesn't have to be formal. Even chatting with people in your target market can provide insights. For instance, if your idea is a service for busy moms, go talk to some moms. Ask if they faced a problem you think they have and how they solve it now. You might discover new info. Maybe they don't need what you thought, or maybe they desperately need it, but current options are too expensive. Those insights are pure gold and can save you from building something flawed. Entrepreneur Steve Blank famously said, "There are no facts inside the building, so get the heck outside." Meaning, don't just sit in your room theorizing. Get out there and learn from real people. Let's say one of your ideas is an app to help people find last-minute fitness classes. You'd research how many people search for fitness classes, see if apps like ClassPass or MindBody cover that, and perhaps survey some gym goers or instructors about their needs. You might discover that people want to do spontaneous fitness options, but they care more about price or location. That intel helps you refine your idea. Maybe your twist is focusing on discounted last-minute spots, like a hotwire for fitness classes. This research phase is where you turn a rough idea into a more concrete concept backed by evidence. Step number 5 is carve out your unique value and differentiate with a blue ocean strategy. So by now, you should have a much clearer picture of your top idea or couple of ideas and what the market looks like. Now ask yourself, what will make my business unique? Why will customers choose you over the competition? This is your unique value proposition, or UVP, the special sauce that sets you apart. It could be a niche focus, a better feature, a more convenient delivery method, a lower price, a higher quality, a brand that resonates more, etc. But you need something that makes you stand out. One powerful way to think about this is using the Blue Ocean Strategy framework. The concept popularized by the book Blue Ocean Strategy is that most businesses fight in red oceans crowded with competitors, all biting at the same customers. A blue ocean is where you create a new uncontested market space, making the competition irrelevant. In plain terms, find an angle that none of your competitors are addressing and sail there. This might mean targeting a different customer segment or offering a completely new combination of benefits. So, for example, think about Cirque du Soleil. They took a blue ocean by blending circus with theater, attracting adults willing to pay theater prices while other circuses were stuck competing for kids' attention with animals and clowns. Cirque du Soleil's unique value is a sophisticated, story-driven circus experience. The result? They tapped into a whole new audience and made competition beside the point. Now, you don't have to revolutionize an entire industry like they did, but you can apply the same idea on a smaller scale. So ask yourself, what can I do differently or better than anyone in my space? Maybe your research revealed a gap. Perhaps all the existing products are expensive, so you aim to be affordable. Or they're all cheap and low quality, so you become the premium, high quality choice. Perhaps competitors serve a general audience, so you niche down. For instance, instead of a generic marketing agency, you specialize in marketing for sustainable fashion brands, becoming the go-to expert for that niche. That niche focus can be your unique edge. Here's another angle. Combine things in a novel way. Maybe you notice no one is bundling two services together. That makes sense. Think of how some car wash businesses now offer oil change while you wash. They combine services to stand out. Or use a different channel. If competitors only sell in-store, you dominate online, or vice versa. Blue ocean thinking encourages creativity. Instead of trying to beat someone else at their game, you change the game. Even if your idea is in a crowded field, a unique value prop can make it feel brand new. For instance, lots of people sold coffee, but Starbucks made a blue ocean by selling an experience and a community, the third place between home and work. Lots of people made phones, but Apple differentiated with design and an ecosystem that locked customers in. So define your differentiator. Write down a simple sentence. My business is the only one that, and then fill in the blank. If you can't, you need to refine your idea further until you can. Maybe it's the only one that can offer on-site yoga classes specifically for tech companies, or the only one that uses AI to personalize meal prep for users in seconds. The point is to have a clear and compelling answer when a customer asks, "Why should I choose you?" If you nail that, you're way ahead of most new businesses. Step number 6 is test your idea on a small scale, validate with MVP. You've got a promised an idea that fits your passion, solves a real problem, and now has a unique twist. Fantastic! Now, before you start pouring all your savings or quitting your day job, it's time for one of the most critical steps. Validate your idea with a small scale test. In startup speak, we call this building a minimum viable product, or MVP. The concept is simple. You create the simplest version of your idea necessary to prove that people want it. This way, you get real feedback and evidence without a huge investment upfront. Think of it as experimenting. You're testing the market's reaction. This step can save you from disaster or give you the confidence and data to go all in. And it doesn't have to be expensive or complicated. In fact, some of the most successful companies started with super scrappy tests of their concepts. Let me share a couple of famous examples. Airbnb's MVP. So today, Airbnb is a massive business, but it started extremely small. The founders, Brian and Joe, had an idea. Strangers might pay to stay in our home instead of a hotel. Crazy, right? To test it, they didn't build a fancy app or buy properties. They literally put air mattresses in their living room and created a basic web page offering a place to sleep and breakfast. They targeted a conference in town that had hotels fully booked, and guess what? 3 people took them up on their offer to air, bed, and breakfast. That was all the validation they needed to see that, hey, people are open to this. After only that initial test did they start expanding, and even then, very slowly at first. The key lesson is this. They tested the core assumption. Will people pay to stay in a stranger's home with almost no money? You can do the same with your own idea in its own way. Here's Zappos' MVP. Zappos is a huge online shoe retailer now, but when Nick Swinmer had the idea in 1999, selling shoes online was unheard of. Rather than buying a ton of shoes and hoping they'd sell, which is super risky, Nick ran a clever test. He went to local shoe stores, took photos of shoes, and listed them on a simple website. When a customer ordered a pair, he'd go buy it from the store and ship it to them. Inconvenient for him? Sure. He was running around town. Profitable at that moment? Not really. He wasn't making money doing that. But as a test, it was brilliant. It proved people would buy shoes online even without trying them on. Once that was validated, he knew it was worth investing in inventory and building the real infrastructure. Zappos was born from that experiment. These examples show the power of an MVP. Keep it simple, cheap, and focused on learning. So ask yourself, what's the smallest, quickest way I can test my idea? If it's a product, maybe you make a prototype by hand or even a 3D rendering and show it to potential customers for feedback or pre-orders. If it's a service, maybe you offer it to a few people manually. Even if behind the scenes you're doing things unscalably, just to see if they'll pay and what results they get. If it's an app or website, perhaps you don't even build it fully. You just put up a landing page describing the service with a sign up or buy now button and see if people click and then say coming soon. This gauges interest. You could also run a small crowdfunding campaign to see if strangers will put money down for your idea. There are so many creative ways to test without a full launch. One very important piece of validation is to actually charge money if that's your eventual goal and see if people will pay. It's one thing for friends to say, oh, that sounds cool, I'd use that. It's another for someone to pull out their wallet and pay $50 for it. The ultimate proof of a profitable idea is, well, profit. So in your test, see if you can even get 1 or 2 actual sales or paying users. That does wonders for your confidence and gives you real customer feedback. And remember, you don't have to quit your day job to do this testing. In fact, keeping your job while you validate is often wise. There's research done by professors spanning 14 years that found entrepreneurs who kept their day jobs had 33% lower odds of failure than those who quit outright. Read that again. It means you can be prudent and hedge your bets early on. Test your ideas in the evenings or weekends. It's okay if progress is a bit slow at first. You're buying yourself runway and reducing risk. Once your idea is validated and starts gaining traction, then you can consider going full time. As the saying goes, don't burn the boats until you're sure the island has treasure. So go out and run your tests. Embrace the mindset of a scientist and an adventurer. It's actually fun. You're seeing your idea come to life in the real world for the first time. Keep your eyes wide open during this phase. Talk to your early users or customers. Get their brutally honest feedback and iterate. Maybe they'll love some parts of your idea and be lukewarm on the others. Use that information to tweak your concept. It's much better to adjust now than after you've sunk a year of work into it. Step number 7, refine, pivot, or persevere, but stay flexible. After testing, you'll have real data in your hands. Some of it will make you happy. People love the convenience. Some might be disappointing. Only a few out of 100 people who visited my site actually signed up. This is normal. The question now is, what did you learn and what will you do about it? This stage is all about refining your idea. You might need to make small changes or sometimes a major change, a pivot, to hit the sweet spot. Don't be discouraged if your initial idea wasn't a home run right away. It's rarely perfect from the get-go. In fact, many successful businesses morphed from their original idea once they got market feedback. Instagram famously started as a completely different app. It was a complex check-in app called Bourbon. Before the founders noticed users only really liked one feature, photo sharing, and pivoted to focus on that. Hello, Instagram. Twitter was born out of a failing podcast platform. Iteration is part of the process. As Paul Graham observed, most startups end up nothing like the initial idea. It would be closer to the truth to say the main value of your initial idea is that in the process of discovering it's broken, you'll come up with your real idea. In other words, your first idea is just a stepping stone to the truly great idea, and that's okay. So what might refinement look like for you? It could be narrowing down your target market further because you found one subgroup really loved it and the others didn't care. Or adjusting your pricing if people said it's too expensive, or maybe adding or removing a feature. For example, if you offered a meal delivery service and learned that customers only really use it for dinner, maybe you pivot to focus on dinner plans specifically. If your app has 5 features but users only care about 2, simplify and double down on those 2. Listen to the feedback and be willing to adapt. The best entrepreneurs are flexible thinkers. They don't marry their solution, they marry the problem. They stay committed to solving the core need, but are willing to change how they solve it based on what is actually working. There's also a chance your test results are phenomenal and basically scream, yes, this idea is a winner exactly as it is. That's great. Then you persevere and start scaling it up. But if the results were lukewarm or confusing, don't despair. Use them to make your idea better. This is the time for tweaks and maybe a second round of testing with the improved version. Here's one more thing. Overcome the fear of failure by reframing it as learning. Thomas Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Each tweak you make is bringing you closer to something that will work. Each failure in testing is just an experiment that yielded new information. It's like a pilot adjusting course based on weather conditions. You're still headed to your destination. You're just navigating reality. So stay consistent and keep that growth mindset. If version 1 of your idea doesn't fly, think of version 2 or 3. This phase might repeat a few times. Test, learn, refine, test again. That's normal. The end goal is when you start consistently seeing people willing to pay, good satisfaction, and growing demand. That's when you know you've honed in on a truly profitable business idea worth pouring gasoline on, which is scaling up. Step number 8, take action and execute. Your ideas are worthless without execution. By now, you should have a solid, validated business idea in your hands. Congratulations. Do you know how many people never get to this point? A lot. You've done the hard thinking, you've done the research, you've tested and refined. Now comes the part that separates wantrepreneurs from entrepreneurs. Taking massive action and executing consistently. This is where you turn that idea into an actual business with customers and revenue. It's showtime. Let me be real with you. An idea alone, no matter how brilliant, is worth almost nothing. Execution is everything. Mary Kay Ash, the founder of Mary Kay Cosmetics, famously said, "Ideas are a dime a dozen. People who implement them are priceless." Let that sink in. You might have the most innovative idea, but if you don't act on it, it's just theory. On the other hand, even a simple or common idea executed with excellence can make you incredibly successful. Look at businesses like Starbucks or McDonald's. Coffee and hamburgers are not novel ideas at all. It was their execution, it was their systems, their branding, their consistency that made them billion-dollar empires. So don't worry if your idea isn't completely original. What matters is doing it better, doing it your way and actually doing it. Millions of people say, I had that idea when they see a successful business, but the winners are those who acted. You're going to be a winner by acting on yours. What does execution involve at this stage? It means building your product or service for real, setting up the business basics, even if it's just creating a simple website or social media page to start, and aggressively going after your first real customers beyond the testers. It means refining your operations, how you deliver your product or your service efficiently. It also means marketing, getting the word out through any scrappy means you can, social media, word of mouth, local events, content marketing, etc. Essentially, you transform from planner to doer full time. This part will be a journey on its own with new challenges. Maybe you hit technical issues to solve. Maybe you face rejection from investors or partners. Maybe sales are slow in the first months. This is where the passion we talked about in step 1 really pays off. It will keep you motivated to push through. Remember your why, the passion or purpose that made you choose this idea and the problem you're solving that really helps people. That will drive you to persist and innovate in the face of obstacles. Here's a quick tip. Don't seek perfection before launch. I've seen too many aspiring entrepreneurs tinker endlessly trying to make their product perfect and delay actually offering it to real customers. Don't fall into that trap. Get a good enough version out and improve as you go. Reid Hoffman, the founder of LinkedIn, said, if you are not embarrassed by the first version of your product, you've launched too late. The point is to launch, learn, and improve rather than aim for perfection out of the gate. Execution is a learning process too. And guess what? You're never truly ready. You might still feel doubt or fear. That's normal. Successful entrepreneurs feel it and take action despite it. You don't need anyone's permission to start. You just need to start. Discipline and consistency will carry you forward. Make a plan, even a simple to-do list or a 90-day action plan, and then execute on it every single day. Step by step, you will build momentum. Finally, as you execute, keep your motivation and vision high. Celebrate your small wins, your first sale, your first 100 users, a great customer testimonial. These are milestones on your journey to a profitable business. Surround yourself with positive influencers, mentors, entrepreneur communities, or even motivating videos. That's what I'm here for. This will keep your energy up when you face challenges. And step number 9, you have everything you need. Now believe in yourself. We've covered a lot, from finding your passion, ikigai, to identifying real problems, generating a ton of ideas from products, services, online, offline, trending, timeless, the whole spectrum. Researching the market, finding your unique angle with frameworks like Blue Ocean Strategy, testing your idea lean with MVPs, and then executing with full force. This is the roadmap countless successful entrepreneurs have followed to find their profitable business idea, and now it's in your hands. Here's the beautiful thing. You already have what it takes. The fact that you watched this video through, working on yourself and your dreams, shows that you're serious. The profitable idea is out there waiting for you to bring to life. It might be something small that grows big, or something that starts one way and evolves into something unexpected. However it unfolds, it begins with you taking that next step. Remember, every big business started with one person and one idea. Jeff Bezos began Amazon as a tiny online bookstore in his garage. Sarah Blakeley started Spanx with just an idea and $5,000 in her savings, hustling her way to building a brand because she believed women needed better undergarments. The common thread, they started and they believed in the idea and themselves. Now it's your turn. No more analysis paralysis. You have the tools and strategies. Use them. Start brainstorming, start researching, start talking to potential customers, start building something. It's okay if it's not perfect. It's okay if you pivot. What's not okay is to let another year slip by and still be dreaming about someday. As the saying goes, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is now. The best time to start your business idea is now. I want you to bet on yourself. Take that leap of faith, even if it's a small step at first. Trust that you'll figure things out along the way, because you will. You've learned how to find a profitable business idea, but it will only profit you if you act on it. I'm excited for you. This could be the moment you look back on and say, that's when I decided to change my life. So get out there and make it happen. You've got this. I believe in you, but most importantly, you need to believe in yourself. The world needs that special business that only you can create with your unique passions, skills, and perspective. It's time to turn your idea into reality, because if others can do it, you can do it too. And you will, as long as you believe. Go forth, do the work, and see your dream come to life. I'll leave you with one final word that I live by myself. Believe.
Now let's learn how to build unstoppable resilience in business.
You have a vision that no one else believes in. You feel like you're on this journey completely alone, and it's tough, really tough. You might be asking yourself, how can I stay motivated when absolutely nobody supports me? Well, you're about to find out. In this video, I'm talking directly to you. If you're an entrepreneur who feels lonely, doubted, or unsupported, listen up. By the end of this, you'll have a toolbox of motivational hacks, mindset shifts, and practical routines to keep you going strong, even with zero support. Let's jump in. Are you feeling isolated? Like nobody understands what you're trying to do? You're not alone in feeling this way. Studies show about 60% of entrepreneurs grapple with feelings of loneliness or isolation. Think about that. That's more than half of us building a business, feeling alone. And it gets deeper. 46% of entrepreneurs struggle with these feelings regularly, and nearly 40% feel they have no one to talk to about their stress. Now, if you're nodding your head right now, take a breath. There's nothing wrong with you for feeling this. Running a business can feel like standing on an island. You have big responsibilities and tough calls to make, and often your friends or family just don't get it. Maybe they have stable jobs or traditional paths and can't relate to your crazy dream. Maybe they even openly doubt you. It hurts, I know. But guess what? This lonely at the top feeling is actually common for founders and CEOs. Even business icons have talked about it. Reid Hoffman, the co-founder of LinkedIn, said being an entrepreneur is even lonelier than being a CEO. Why? Because until you succeed, no one sees your vision except you. Now, loneliness isn't just a soft feeling. It can affect your mental health. A Harvard Business Review report found that entrepreneurs are 30% more likely to experience depression than people who aren't entrepreneurs. I'll say that again. The stress and isolation of this path can literally take a mental toll. Lack of support can lead to burnout too. About 31% of entrepreneurs experience burnout due to not having support from friends or family. So this is some serious stuff. If you ignore these feelings, they can snowball. But here's the good news. You can overcome this. The first step is realizing you're not actually as alone as you think. Thousands of entrepreneurs are feeling exactly what you feel right now. They felt the doubt, the late night panic, the maybe they're right, maybe I am crazy to do this. You are part of a tribe of dreamers and builders who often walk a lonely road at first. Understand that feeling unsupported doesn't mean your idea is bad or that you can't succeed. Many great businesses started with only the founder believing in them. So wear your loneliness almost as a badge of honor. It means you're doing something different, something bold, something that not everyone can understand yet. All right, so no one in your circle is clapping for you. How do you keep going? By learning to clap for yourself and use the doubt as fuel. Look, doubt can be crippling or it can be motivating. It's up to you to decide how it affects you. The greatest entrepreneurs in history, they faced huge doubts and kept moving forward regardless. Remember, most entrepreneurs have self-doubt at times, even the successful ones. In fact, more than 80% of entrepreneurs report struggling with imposter syndrome, the feeling that you're not good enough or that you're a fraud. So if you're looking in the mirror wondering, can I really do this? Know that 8 of 10 other founders have felt the same way. You're in good company. Even Sarah Blakeley, the billionaire founder of Spanx, admitted she kept her business idea secret for a year because she feared people would ridicule her. Can you imagine? Someone who went on to become massively successful was initially afraid to tell others because she had zero support and was scared of the doubt and laughter. But she forged ahead anyway. The key is to turn that doubt into determination. There's a great piece of advice I read. Most business owners are drowning in doubt. The great ones, they turn that doubt into fuel for action. So when someone says, I don't think you can do it, or when you feel that no one believes in you, channel that. Say to yourself, all right, I'll show you. I'll prove it to myself. Let their skepticism light a fire in you instead of extinguishing your flame. Here's a mindset shift. Make it about proving yourself right, not proving others wrong. If you focus only on revenge success, I'll succeed to shut them up, you're still letting them control you. Instead, focus on your own belief. Do you believe in your idea? Do you believe in yourself? That's what matters. Henry Ford famously said, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. He's saying your belief determines your outcome. If you are convinced deep down that you can make this business work, then with persistence and learning, you will, even if it takes time. But if you let yourself believe the naysayers, you're defeated before you start. So guard your mindset. Think about it. Every great innovator was once laughed at. The Wright brothers, people thought humans flying was insane. Colonel Harlan Sanders, he had a fried chicken recipe rejected 1,009 times before anyone agreed to partner with him. That's not an error. 1,009 rejections. Imagine if he had given up at rejection number 100 or 500, thinking no one believes in my recipe, maybe they're right. We wouldn't have KFC today. Instead, he believed in his chicken so much that it didn't matter if the entire world said no. He just kept going until someone said yes. That's the kind of crazy self-belief you need to cultivate. Another example, Elon Musk. Today, he's one of the most visionary entrepreneurs alive. But when he started SpaceX, even his heroes didn't support him. In 2012, Musk was visibly hurt in an interview because legendary astronauts Neil Armstrong and Gene Cernan, men he looked up to, spoke out against his efforts in private space travel. Imagine your idols basically saying, "We don't think you should be doing this." Ouch. But Elon didn't pack up and quit SpaceX. He kept at it. Now SpaceX regularly launches rockets and has proven the critics wrong. If Elon had crumbled when the people he admired gave him zero support, we might not have reusable rockets today. So take this to heart. Others don't need to believe in you for you to succeed. It's nice to have support, but it's not a requirement. What is a requirement is you don't quit on yourself. Use successful people's stories as inspiration. When you feel like no one believes in me, remember that every success story was once a story of someone no one believed in. J.K. Rowling was rejected by a dozen publishers. Steve Jobs was fired from his own company and people thought he was done. Oprah Winfrey was told she wasn't fit for TV early in her career. The list goes on. They all kept believing in their vision when no one else did. As Steve Jobs once said, don't let the noise of other opinions drown out your own inner voice. Your inner voice, your gut, that whisper inside that says, this is what I'm meant to do. That is your support. Nurture it. Protect it. How do you actually believe in yourself when you currently feel shaky? It starts with understanding that belief is like a muscle. You build it by repetition and positive inputs. If you've been surrounded by doubt or silence, you need to surround yourself with belief, even if it's your own. This means affirmations, visualizations, and remembering past wins. Start by affirming yourself daily. This isn't cheesy, it's science-backed. When you constantly tell yourself, I can do this, I will find a way, you are rewiring your brain to be more confident and resilient. It might feel awkward at first, but stick with it. Every morning, look in the mirror and speak encouragement to yourself. Be the coach you wish you had. Say, you will make this happen. You are capable. You're resourceful. You don't need anyone's permission to succeed. When you repeat that, you prime your mind to actually believe it. Next, remember your why. Why did you start this venture in the first place? Was it to solve a meaningful problem, to create a better life for your family, to prove something to yourself? That core purpose is a powerful motivator. Write it down and put it where you can see it daily. When your motivation drops, reconnect with your why. If your purpose is strong and personal, it can carry you through patches of self-doubt. So, for example, maybe you started your business to help your community or to innovate in an industry that you deeply care about. If you focus on that mission, you realize that even if no one is cheering you on right now, the end result will be worth it. Purpose can be your support system when people aren't. Also, celebrate the small wins you achieve. This builds self-belief like nothing else. When you make even a little bit of progress, pause, acknowledge it. Maybe you built a prototype. Maybe you got your first online sale. Maybe you just finished a tough week. Don't say, yeah, but it's nothing compared to my big goal, right? No, a win is a win, and it proves that you are moving forward. Psychologically, recognizing small victories actually boosts your confidence and motivation. Research has shown that making progress on meaningful work is actually the #1 driver of motivation. So each small win is like a brick in the foundation of your self-belief. Lay those bricks every day. Here's one practical tip. Keep a done list. So we all know about the to-do list, but a done list is where you write down things you've accomplished. These could be big or small. Maybe you completed 5 phone calls that you were nervous about, or you launched your website. Write it down on the done list. According to productivity experts, a done list gives you a tangible record of progress, which heightens positive emotions and helps you stay motivated. On days when you feel like you're getting nowhere, look at your done list and remind yourself of how far you've come. Every item there is proof that you took action and made something happen. That builds belief in your abilities. Remember too that self-belief grows through action. Confidence is earned by doing. If you're waiting to feel 100% confident before you start the next big task, flip that around. Do the task, even with doubt, and then your confidence will increase because you saw yourself succeed. It's like courage. You don't wait to not be scared. You go despite the fear, and then you become brave. So push yourself to take action, however small. Make that call, pitch that client, write that code, film that video. Each action you take is a vote for I can in your mind. Lastly, limit your exposure to negativity. If certain people in your life constantly dismiss or discourage you, you might need to reduce how much you talk to them about your business, or at all if possible. I'm not saying cut out anybody who doesn't cheer for you, but protect your mental space. You can love your family or friends, yet not share every detail of your entrepreneurial journey with those who only criticize. Seek out voices that uplift your belief, not tear it down. Curate your social media, for example. Follow entrepreneurs, mentors, motivational figures, people who reinforce a positive mindset. Unfollow or mute those who instill doubt. Your environment greatly affects your belief in yourself, so shape your environment to be as encouraging as possible. When you have zero external support, it's crucial to have the right mindset internally. A growth mindset is your best friend here. What is a growth mindset? It's the belief that your skills and abilities can improve with effort and learning. So in other words, you aren't stuck with whatever talent or knowledge you have right now. You can grow. This is huge for entrepreneurs. Harvard Business School calls this kind of mindset an invaluable asset in the startup world. Why? Because when you believe you can learn and adapt, you become unstoppable. Any challenge or lack of skill, it's not a dead end. It's just a problem to solve or an area to get better in. So let's say you feel unsupported and you think, I have no one to turn to for advice on marketing, and I'm not a marketing expert, so how will I ever get customers, right? A fixed mindset would make you feel doomed. A growth mindset says, okay, I don't know marketing yet, but I can learn, I can read, I can watch videos, I can take an online course, I can experiment, and over time, I will improve. You become resourceful instead of despairing. When you have a growth mindset, every setback or gap in knowledge is just temporary. You treat failures and obstacles as lessons. As Carol Dweck, the psychologist who coined growth mindset, found that people who embrace challenges and persist despite failure ultimately achieve more. For entrepreneurs, this is vital. If a strategy fails or you get rejected by an investor, it's not proof that you're doomed, it's feedback. You adjust and you try again. With a growth mindset, you start to see doubters and lack of support as just another challenge to overcome, not a verdict on your future. Now here's a pro tip. When something goes wrong or someone says no to you, add the word yet to your thoughts. Instead of I don't know how to do this, say I don't know how to do this yet. Instead of I'm not getting sales, say I'm not getting sales yet. That one word keeps the door open for growth and improvement. It reminds you that where you are now isn't where you'll be in 6 months or a year if you keep learning. Another powerful mindset to develop is grit. Angela Duckworth, a psychologist and expert on success, defines grit as passion and perseverance for long-term goals. It's basically sticking with your mission day in and day out, especially when things are hard. Research suggests that grit is often a better predictor of success than IQ or talent. Think about that. It's not the smartest or most gifted who wins, it's those who persist with grit. So even if you feel you're not as experienced or as skilled as others and no one is helping you, your secret weapon can be sheer determination. You can outlast and outwork the doubters. Be the person who just won't give up. If you keep showing up and improving little by little, you greatly increase your chances of success. Cultivating grit means embracing the grind. It's doing the unglamorous work consistently. It's also maintaining the passion for what you're doing. So keep your passion alive. Remember why you love this idea or this field. Passion will pull you through the drudgery, and perseverance will keep you on track during the droughts. Together, that's an unbeatable combo. Remind yourself, every overnight success story you see was years in the making. Those founders had grit. They kept pushing through lonely times when no one else believed in them. Here's one more mindset shift. See criticism or lack of support as a filter that leaves only the determined ones like you in the game. Not everyone can handle being an entrepreneur precisely because of how tough it is when you have no support. If it were easy, everyone would do it. The fact that you're facing this hardship is actually part of what will make your success story inspiring later. You are in the process of building resilience. Every day that you choose to keep going without cheers and pats on the back is a day you become mentally stronger. That resilience, that thick skin, will serve you enormously in business. It's like forging steel in fire. Hard times are forging you into a stronger entrepreneur. Embrace that idea, and suddenly the lack of support feels less like a curse and more like a training ground designed for greatness. Motivation isn't just mindset, it's also about your daily systems. When you have zero external support, your habits and routines become your support structure. Think of your routine as a scaffolding that holds you up when it feels like no one else is holding you up. By building good habits, you essentially create an automatic engine that drives you forward each day, so you rely less on fleeting motivational boosts. Start with your morning routine. How you begin the day often sets the tone. Do you roll out of bed feeling dread, or do you have a plan to ignite motivation each morning? Try this. Begin each day with something that energizes you and reminds you of your goals. This could be exercise, reading, something inspiring, watching one of these YouTube videos, or reviewing your goals in your vision board. For example, some entrepreneurs wake up and immediately do a workout or a brisk walk. That physical movement not only boosts your health, it also reduces endorphins, those feel-good chemicals in your brain that actually improve your mood. Exercise is proven to reduce stress and lift your spirits by pumping up endorphins, which is super important when you don't have external cheerleaders. Even a 20-minute jog or some jumping jacks can snap you out of a funk and into a positive mindset for the day. If you're not into heavy exercise, no worries. Even a stretch or short yoga, anything to get the blood flowing. The idea is to signal to your body and mind that we're awake and we're feeling good. Taking care of your body is a non-negotiable part of staying motivated because a healthy body supports a healthy mind. Eat as well as you can, stay hydrated, and please try to get enough sleep. It's tempting to grind 24/7, especially when you feel you have to do it all yourself. But remember, burnout will kill your motivation faster than anything else. You have to be sustainable in your efforts. As the saying goes, you can't pour from an empty cup. So schedule a rest. Actually, put it on your calendar if you must. Time to recharge is not a luxury, it's part of your productivity strategy. Next, structure your workdays with productive routines. One effective method is time blocking. Set aside chunks of time for your most important tasks and stick to that schedule as if you had a boss or supporter watching. Since you don't have someone looking over your shoulder, become your own manager. Create a system. For instance, 9 to 11 a.m. is for deep work, coding, writing, designing, whatever your core creation. 11 to 11:30, break. 11:30 to 1, outreach to clients. A clear routine prevents the lack of external accountability from turning into procrastination. When you know, this is just what I do at this time, you're less likely to falter. Consistency is key. Even if one day you wake up and really don't feel like doing that task, following your routine can carry you through. It's like muscle memory. Incorporate rituals that pump you up. For example, some people listen to a favorite motivational song or an inspiring podcast every morning while getting ready, or videos from this channel. That can substitute for the voice of a supporter. Imagine a voice in your ear every morning saying, "You got this. Today's challenges are opportunities." Well, that voice can be a YouTube video or an audiobook from successful entrepreneurs. There are tons of free motivational videos, and I mean, hey, that's what I do on this channel. Use them as a stand-in for a mentor's pep talk. Spend 10 minutes feeding your mind positivity before you dive into emails and fires to put out. This way you prime your mind with motivation at the start of the day instead of waiting for motivation to appear. Next, make your environment work for you. If your workspace is a cluttered kitchen table where family members pass by with skeptical looks, see if you can carve out a separate corner or room as your focus space. Having a dedicated workspace, even if it's tiny, helps switch you into work mode and signals, "I'm serious about this." Put up a few quotes or images that inspire you at your desk. Maybe it's the word "believe" on the wall, or a photo of someone you admire, or your vision board with your goals. These visual cues act like silent support members, reminding you why you're doing this and pushing you to keep at it. It might sound silly, but visual inspiration can drive you when people aren't there. Now, let's talk about managing your energy and mood throughout the day. Motivation isn't a constant high, it fluctuates. Without colleagues or a team, you might find your energy dipping, often because you're always working solo. A great technique is the Pomodoro method, working in focus sprints, so 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off, or any similar rhythm that gives you regular breaks. Use those mini breaks to recharge your motivation. In a break, you could do a quick breathing exercise, step outside for fresh air, or watch a 5-minute inspiring clip. The idea is to prevent long stretches of isolation from draining you. Next, let's balance intense work with intentional breaks. Research shows that even short breaks can reset your mood and keep you motivated longer. Don't feel guilty about taking a break. See it as refueling your tank. Also, set yourself up with rewards. When you're the only one patting yourself on the back, it's okay to incentivize yourself a little bit. For example, tell yourself, if I finish this proposal by 5 p.m., I'll treat myself to my favorite snack or an episode of that show tonight. Small rewards can make work more fun and give you something to look forward to. It's like being your own supportive boss who says, "Great job, take the rest of the day off," except in miniature form. Celebrate milestones too. Did you hit your first 100 customers? Finish your app's beta version? That deserves a reward. Maybe a dinner out or a day off to relax. Acknowledging these milestones is important. It keeps your motivation fire burning hot for the next milestone. One more crucial system is a gratitude practice. This might not sound directly related to motivation, but it is incredibly powerful. When you actively practice gratitude, you shift from focus from what's lacking, like there's no support and it's not there yet, to what you do have. You have some small wins, you have opportunities, you have lessons learned. Each day, perhaps in the morning or before bed, write down 3 things that you're grateful for, specifically related to your journey. It could be as simple as, I'm grateful that I learned something new today, or I'm grateful for the one customer who gave me a chance. I'm grateful I found this video, or even I'm grateful for my own determination to keep going. Studies have found that keeping a gratitude journal can significantly boost your happiness and optimism. One study showed that it can increase your well-being by around 10%, equivalent to the boost you'd get from doubling your income. That's huge. Gratitude literally trains your brain to see the good and stay positive, which directly feeds motivation. When you appreciate the small positives, you create an upward spiral of motivation. You start noticing progress and blessings even without outside validation. So try it. Write those gratitude points, or at least take a moment each day to mentally say thank you for the good things, however small. It builds resilience and a motivated mind. Just because you start with zero support doesn't mean you have to stay that way. Humans are social creatures. Even us entrepreneurs need connections, and even the introverted ones like me. While you may not have supportive people around you right now, part of staying motivated long term is to gradually build a support network, even if it's just one person at first. I like to say, collect good people. Think of it as assembling your personal board of advisors or your cheer squad, one member at a time. Start by seeking out like-minded entrepreneurs. Thanks to the internet, you can connect with people who understand exactly what you're going through right now, even if they're halfway across the world. Join entrepreneur groups on LinkedIn or Facebook, subreddits for startups, or local business meetups. There are forums and communities and events for founders in every industry. When you engage in these communities, you'll realize many others are also looking for support and accountability. Share your experiences, ask questions, answer someone else's question. That back and forth can be incredibly motivating. Suddenly, you have people to bounce ideas off of, even if they're virtual acquaintances and even if it's only one person. Next, consider finding a mentor or coach. This could be someone in your industry who you admire. You'd be surprised that some people are happy to give occasional advice if you reach out respectfully. Or a SCORE mentor. SCORE is a free mentorship program for small businesses in the US. Or even a paid coach if that's feasible for you. Having a mentor can dramatically change the game. In fact, a survey by the UPS store found that 70% of small businesses that receive mentoring survived more than 5 years, doubled the survival rate of businesses who didn't have a mentor. I'll say that again, double the survival rate. That's how powerful support and guidance can be. Just knowing there's someone that you can turn to for advice or encouragement can keep you going when things get rough. And 88% of business owners with a mentor say that having one was invaluable. So if you don't have a mentor yet, it's worth the effort to seek one out. It could be as simple as emailing a retired entrepreneur in your town or connecting with an experienced founder on social media and politely asking if they'd be open to a short call or answering a quick question. You might get a few no's, but keep trying. Remember Colonel Sanders. All you need is one yes to gain a supportive ally. Next is build your tribe of positive people. They say you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Motivational speaker Jim Rohn said that, and it holds true. If you're currently surrounded by people who don't get your vision, you need to start spending time, even if it's virtually, with people who do. That might mean attending networking events or entrepreneur workshops. Yes, it can be intimidating, especially if you're introverted, to put yourself out there, but think of it as prospecting for friends who share your mindset. Even 1 or 2 entrepreneur buddies can make a huge difference in your business. You can regularly check in with each other, you can celebrate small wins, and pep talk through the challenges. If you can't find an existing group, consider starting your own meetup or mastermind. There might be other solo entrepreneurs in your area also craving some support. Bring them together. Meet once a week or once a month, even if it's just on a Zoom call, to trade updates and encouragement. When you create a community, you become the source of support, not just for yourself, but for others too, which is extremely rewarding and motivating. Don't overlook the value of friends and family you already have. Even if they're not entrepreneurs, they may not grasp your business, but you can still lean on them for general emotional support. Be honest with those closest to you about what you need. You might say, hey, I know you don't really understand my business, but it would mean a lot if once in a while You would just ask me how it's going or just tell me you've got this when I'm stressed. Sometimes our loved ones don't support us simply because they don't know how or they're afraid of saying the wrong thing. So if you can guide them on how to support you, could you possibly help by watching the kids for an hour while I work? Or I could use a sounding board for an idea. Would you mind listening? You might get some of the help that you need. Not everyone will respond, but some will. And with a little moral support from a close friend who says, I believe in you, that can fuel you for weeks. Don't write everyone off. Give them a chance to be there for you by communicating openly. Now, that being said, also be prepared to distance yourself from persistent naysayers, at least temporarily. If someone in your life constantly drags you down, every conversation with them is doubting and belittling your dream, you may need to set some boundaries. You can limit talk about your business with them or spend less time with them if possible. It's harsh, but your mental health is important. Surround yourself with as much positivity as you can. Life is short. Spend it with people who lift you up, not tear you down. And as the old wisdom goes, you will be the same person in 5 years except for the books you read and the people you meet and the videos you watch. Choose them wisely. Also remember, support can come from learning resources, the books you read, the podcasts you listen to. Think of authors and successful entrepreneurs as your virtual mentors. Read biographies of entrepreneurs who made it against all odds. When you read about their struggles and triumphs, you feel less alone. This is why I made the top 10 series on my channel. You'll pick up strategies and mindsets that you can apply. It's like having a conversation with the greatest minds in business history. Charlie Tremendous Jones said it well. You will be the same person in 5 years except for the books you read and the people you meet. If you currently lack people to meet, then read the books and watch the videos. Let those resources fill the mentorship gap. Over time, what you learn from them will translate into real-world success, which will attract real supporters. Success has a funny way of drawing people in. Those who ignored or doubted you may suddenly respect you, but by then you might not even need their support because you'll have built your own strong circle and inner confidence. Entrepreneurship with zero support is like climbing a mountain without a cheering crowd. It's quiet, it's daunting, but the climb is still absolutely possible. In fact, reaching the summit on your own can be one of the most rewarding feelings in the world. Imagine that day when your business takes off and you look back, realizing you kept the faith in yourself when nobody else did. That victory will be 100% yours, earned by your grit, your mindset, and your refusal to quit. So here's my final message directly to you. Never let the lack of support stop you. Use it as fuel. Prove to yourself that you can do this. Stay focused on your mission. The world needs that gift, that product, that idea you're working on. Take it one day at a time. Celebrate each step forward and learn from each step back. Build routines that keep you moving forward and seek out even the smallest slivers of community and inspiration. Every day you will push forward. You're writing an incredible story. The story of the underdog who made it with pure self-belief and determination. Loneliness, doubt, obstacles, they are all part of the journey, not the end of it. You have the strength to overcome them. In moments when your motivation wanes, remember why you started. Remember that you are far from alone. Countless others have walked this path and emerged victorious. And you can too. Keep your mindset growth-oriented and your attitude grateful and positive. Fortify yourself with knowledge, passion, and support you actively cultivate. You may have zero support now, but you won't always. And even now, you have something powerful. You. Your vision, your courage to take this leap, your resilience to keep going, that's your support system until the rest of the world catches up. So stand tall and keep moving, entrepreneur. Your dream chose you for a reason. The fact that only you can see it right now doesn't mean that it's not real. It means you are the pioneer. So lead the way. Trust yourself even when it feels like no one else does. The road can be lonely, but it also makes you strong, resourceful, and incredibly tough. Those are the traits of a winner. And when you finally break through, and you will if you stay persistent, those who doubted may suddenly ask how you did it. You might just smile because you always knew. You believed in you all along. Keep that belief burning bright. Bet on yourself day after day, because at the end of the day, you don't need a crowd of supporters to conquer your goals. You need that one person who will never give up on you, and that person is staring back at you in the mirror each morning. So go ahead and make it happen, even if you have to do it alone for a while. You've got this. I believe in you. Now it's time for you to believe, stay motivated, and turn your zero support into zero excuses. Keep climbing. The view from the top will be worth it. Believe.
Everything in business changes when you choose optimism. To find out why, watch the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.
You want to know the secret to staying positive every single day as an entrepreneur? In a world full of setbacks, competition, and stress, it's easy to get dragged down. But guess what? Your success in business hinges on your mindset.